when you see extremely wealthy people, they all have these 5 high income skills that you can adopt right now to build wealth and get to financial freedom in your own life. So jumping right in, we have skill number 1, which is delegation. Delegation is so important. And I'm not just talking about delegation in like your business or in your career, but also delegation in your personal life. So delegation is so important because 1, you are one person. Like you individually, you watching this video, you're one person. Sephora is one person. Whoever else is one person. And because you are only one person, you can only do so much at any given time, right? You can't do 5 different things at one time in 1 hour, right? But if you clone yourself, or you delegate those 5 different tasks to 5 different people, or maybe to one person like an assistant, or to a second person like 2 assistants, you're going to get more done. Why is this important? Because if you're trying to build a multi-million-dollar net worth, if you're trying to get to financial freedom, you are going to need to give yourself more time. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to delegate and take some things off of your plate. Because this is the 80-20 rule. I first learned about the 80-20 rule in like many of the books I read, honestly. But essentially what that means is majority of your money comes from 20% of your activities. And 80% of your activities is what makes up everything else, essentially. And so what you need to be able to do is double down on those 20% of activities. The only way for you to be able to double down on those 20% of activities is if you can delegate or give to someone else the other 80% that you will no longer be doing or no longer be spending as much time on, right? That's why you see uber wealthy people or super successful people. That's why they have teams around them. The things that aren't bringing in the money, that aren't essential to getting them to their next level, to getting them to their goal, they're not doing that themselves. They're not editing their own videos. They're not cooking their own meals. They're not cleaning their own apartments. And like, even when you're talking about on a business level, they're not posting on social media for themselves for the most part. The people at that level, they're not responding to every single comment. And when you see that, more than likely other people on their team is handling those kinds of things for them. If you even take a step out of the social media world and you step into the real world, they have assistants who are helping them like monitor their email box, or assistants who is doing up like the typing or managing their schedule or booking their flights or scheduling their appointments and all those types of things, right? They have assistants who are handling all of those things for them. And so if you really, really want to get to that level and you really want to see a different level of success, you have to learn the skill of delegation, because the main issue that I see all the time is with like business owners who I'm talking to, or like people who are like in careers like what I'm in, like high paying careers, oftentimes like high stress, high hours, whatever. What they're doing is they're like, I want to handle everything. I want to handle everything. I'll handle this. I'll handle this. I'll handle this, because no one can do it like me. First of all, yes, they can. Yes, they can. Someone else can do it like you. And even if they can't do it to the exact perfect T as how you would do it or how you want it done, they can do it well enough. They can do it at 80 or 90% of how you would do it, and that is good enough. And you have to learn to allow people to fail. You have to learn to allow people to mess up, and you have to learn to train people, more importantly too, right? You're delegating, but when you're delegating, you're not just leaving them or hanging them out to dry. You're saying like, this is how I do this, and now this is how I want you to do this, right? And that's why there's also like different softwares and different things you can use. And you can even hire someone to help you bring on team members, to help you train people. I remember when I was like looking to bring on my first assistant, I probably talked to about 3 people or so, and I immediately knew who I was going to go with. And she is still my assistant to this day. And when I tell you she has it down packed, like, I don't know what I would do without her. She handles a lot of the emails that come in. She handles my social media. She does a lot of researching for me. She like literally, I would not be able to juggle running my business, content creation, and working in Big Law if I didn't have my assistant. I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have my editor, my social media people, right? Like, I just wouldn't be able to do it because it's too many things. I would never sleep. So that first skill is delegation. You have to learn to delegate, and you have to be willing to take things off your plate. You can't be like, but no one can do it like me. I'm not willing. I'm not ready. Let it go. You have to let it go. The second high income skill that a lot of wealthy people have is waking up early. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you need to wake up at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever it may be. Like, I'm not going to give you a specific hour that you need to wake up, but just like going through it myself and getting myself to, over like $500,000 and continuously and still climbing and still going, you have to wake up early. Like you do. Like, honey, you do. I'm not saying you even have to do it every single day, but you can't be waking up at noon. You can't be waking up at 1 p.m. Like you can honestly barely be waking up at 11 a.m. every single day. And let me explain this, right? The reason why this is because if you have a full-time job, like I have a full-time job, a lot of you guys probably have full-time jobs, like you have like your main things that you need to get done, whatever. And let's assume your full-time job is 9 to 5. If you're not waking up early to work on your career or your business or your personal growth or whatever it may be, like whatever you're aiming for, financial freedom, all those kinds of things, if you're not waking up early to put in the effort to make your personal life get to where you want it to be, that next level of success, that financial freedom level, then when are you going to do it? Because when you get home from work, maybe max if you assume a commute or whatever, let's assume you get home like between 5:30 and 6, you probably have only 4 hours or so, right? 4 hours from after work to maybe 10 p.m., 6 to 10 p.m. But then you have to cook dinner if you cook for yourself, or order dinner if you don't cook for yourself. And then maybe if you have kids, you have to tend to your kids. I don't have any kids, so I don't have to worry about that. But right, there's other things that you're doing, right? And so if you're not getting up early to get in 2 to 3 hours in the morning, or even an hour in the morning that you can then add on to those extra hours in the evenings, how are you going to get to that next level? Like, I'm not saying you won't get there, but you won't get there as quickly. And it's going to take you a lot longer to hit financial freedom. It's going to take you a lot longer to hit those multi-millions, because people expect these things to just happen overnight or happen so quickly. And even with building my business to, the over $400,000, I did it in 2 years. And by all means, by all definitions, that is fast. like that is fast, right? That's not normal. Like, and I don't know the exact numbers here, but majority of business owners, like solo business owners or entrepreneurs, aren't even making 6 figures, like aren't even making $100,000. And a lot of them fail. I think it's after 2 years or after 5 years. Right. And so you have to be willing to put in the time. And I just think if you wake up early, you have the time to put in. Like I said, sometimes it's not every single day, but sometimes I am getting up at 5 because I need to put this new thing into motion. I need to get this thing done. I need to coach some clients, or I'm coaching some clients in the evening. So I have to do this thing in the morning, or like whatever it may be, right? In my video on YouTube that's already posted, which is, I think it's like how I made over $500,000 in 2024. I literally broke down like what my day-to-day life would look like while I was building my business and working full time. And I talked about in that video how sometimes I would wake up at 3 a.m. Sometimes I would wake up at 5 a.m. But if you just look at any multimillionaire or majority of multimillionaires, I don't want to overgeneralize, and you look at people who built it themselves, right, from the ground up. So, they weren't born into it. They will tell you they woke up early. They put in the hours, right? They put in the hours. At times, it feels like if you work full time, you have 2 full-time jobs. So that is a skill you should adopt. And again, I'm not saying there's a specific, you don't have to wake up at 3, whatever. I'm not attaching a specific time to it. But the point is, you can't be making up in the middle of the day because you're losing daylight. And if you're losing daylight, then there's less time for you to actually do things. Like, how are you going to run to the store at 11 p.m. if the store is closed? And that's something you need to do. If you're filming, how are you going to film at night if there's no daylight, right? So just like you're losing daylight, you're losing time, because if someone else is putting in more time, especially at the beginning, then they're likely getting more returns. Because again, at the beginning, hard work and time is what you have to put in to get to that next level. The third high income skill that no one tells you about is time management and organization. Guys, how are you going to make millions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars if you can't even organize your life? You would be shocked when I tell people that you need a schedule, you need a plan, you need to plan out what you're going to be doing this week. Like, people just fly by the seat of their pants. Multi-millionaires don't do that. They are not flying by the seat of their pants. They know what their day is going to look like. They know what their week is going to look like. They know what their schedule, like to a T, like down to a T, like, oh, at 3 p.m. I have this meeting with this person. And then at 4:45, I have to go run here to go do this. And then at 5:30, I need to get ready for this event. And then at 7, I have this event. And then the next day after that, in the morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., I'm going to be doing XYZ. And then from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., I'm going to be delivering coaching calls. They know their schedule. They have a schedule. Right? You have to have everything planned, because especially if you're balancing multiple things, especially if you're delegating and managing a team or whatever it may be, you have to know what is next on the schedule. You have to have that schedule. And ideally, you have to say like, okay, this is what needs to get done. And this is how we're going to plan this out throughout the week. Getting into that time management and organization is literally non-negotiable, especially again, if you've got multiple things going on. So if you're working full time and you're building a business and you're trying to get to financial freedom and you're trying to organize like your personal life and you're trying to level up and all these different things, you have to have a schedule. Like even as I'm filming this video, I'm filming a separate vlog at the same time that I'm filming this video, and the vlog will be up after this video. But what I'm doing in that vlog is I'm showing people, because I get the question all the time, how do you balance being a big law attorney, content creation, and running a business, a multi-six-figure business? And in that vlog, I'm literally showing you guys how I do it. Like the vlog is going to be my entire weekend of what it looks like to be a big law attorney, to run a business, and to do content creation. So this filming of this YouTube video is going to be in that vlog, and I'm breaking down like literally how I plan these things out for you guys, right? You have to have great time management, and you have to have great organizational skills if you want to hit that next level of success. Because if you can't manage what you have right now, God is not going to give you more. You are going to fumble it. And so he's not going to give it to you. You have to learn to manage what you have. Like it's the same thing with money. If you can't manage a little, how are you going to manage a lot? That's why it's so important, just in general, to have time management, be organized, and just generally to be responsible, right? So fiscal responsibility. The fourth high income skill that no one tells you about that all wealthy people have is you are always learning, or they are always learning. I'm going to say you because you're on your way, but always learning, right? You're not endeavoring to, or you shouldn't be, or they are not endeavoring to be the smartest person in the room, right? If I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I always want to be learning from the people around me. That's why I hire coaches, right? That's why I go out and seek out people who are where I want to be. That's why I'm looking to people who are where I'm aiming for, or the track I'm trying to go to learn from them. That's why I listen to podcasts. That's why I watch YouTube videos. It's engaging in constant learning. It's why I read books, because there's always something new for you to learn. Even if you think you know a lot, even if you think you're a smart person, and I think I'm a pretty smart person, I know that there's something out there that I don't know. I know that almost every single person I talk to could probably teach me something about something I don't know, because I don't know everything. And there's a lot of things that I don't know. And there's things I don't know that I don't even know, right? And so always engaging in learning. And it's not like you have to only learn in one specific arena. There may be your preferred arenas, but also just educating yourself generally, right? Keeping yourself abreast of not only your department or your niche or what it is you are trying to be or are already an expert in, but also other areas that in fact affect your personal life. Like I talk about wealth, I talk about financial literacy, I talk about law school, I talk about being an attorney, but I'm also really interested in like self-care and hair and beauty and like just personal advancements and different things along those lines. So it's a very kind of like, fashion. I love fashion. All these different like buckets of things that I'm trying to learn about, because you aren't like putting yourself in one bucket. There's so many different things that you can learn. And when you learn, you have more to give. And when you have more to give, then you get more, right? It's better to give than it is to receive. And so you're just always engaged in constant learning. And so you have to make sure that you're excited to learn. And I don't see any reason why anybody shouldn't be excited to learn. You don't even have to read books nowadays if you don't want to. Listen to the book. Listen to it as an audiobook, right? Almost every single book that I have read and found as a book, I could find as an audiobook. And I love listening to audiobooks like when I'm traveling. So if I'm in the car, it's either an audiobook or a podcast. And when I'm on the plane, it's either an audiobook or a podcast. So constantly learning, constantly enriching yourself with new information that's going to allow you to progress to that next level, to eventually to that financial freedom. Number 5 is probably the most important of them all, and is that their mindset it's the strongest thing ever. I mean, a rock solid mindset, right? And that's so important because you're not going to hit multi-million dollar status. You're not going to hit financial freedom. You're not going to hit these goals if you inherently believe that you don't deserve it, or if you believe that you can't get there, or if you think it's impossible for you, or if you think people that have a lot of money are bad people, right? You're not going to get there. And let me tell you guys, having money doesn't make you a bad person. If you see people who are bad people and they have money, they would have been bad, or they would be bad people even if they were broke, right? Because there are good people with money and there are bad people who are broke. And so it's really, really making sure that you have the right mindset, that your mindset is believing that you are deserving of wealth, that you can achieve wealth, that wealth is abundant and it is coming to you and it is already here. And you truly believe that, like, in your heart and in your soul, and that you know that what you are working towards, it's literally right in your grasp. Like, it's right there, right? You have to believe that, because if you're putting in the actions, but your mind isn't there, you are not going to see the fruits of your labor. And so arguably that is one of the most important skills that you need to have. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below which one of these skills you have, or which one of these skills you need to work on. Don't forget to follow me on my social media at Sephora Gray Esquire. It's ESQ for short. And I will see you on my next one. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.